You know, in the words of Forrest Gump, it happens. And boy, let me tell you, when I do it good. Check this out. So what's up, guys? Good morning. It is obviously another day here. We are still enjoying the off season, what we call the off season, which is winter for most of you. This is winter. This is winter home where I'm at right now. It is 87 degrees. Now, two problems that presents. Number one, it technically is the off season, because if we were to jump in our RV and travel somewhere, it's freezing or it's snowing. And we really can't do too much traveling here in Florida because we get all the snowbirds that come and take up a lot of the campground. So you're forced to have an off season. That's it. I mean, it is what it is. It's reality. But the off season. So during the off season, I take advantage and do projects. Things that occur during the actual camping season, things that break. Most of the things that break, I do it while I'm out there. But there are some things that I wait to get back home, if it's feasible, to repair them once we arrive at home, which we are obviously at home right now. Unfortunately, this particular project that I'm going to share with you guys today didn't occur on the road, okay? Didn't occur while we were traveling. It actually occurred when we got home. Let me flip the camera around and show you guys something real quick here. So here's our setup at home. Right now the slides are open because we're doing a little cleaning and stuff inside the RV. And yeah, what you're looking up there is the sun. Like I said, it's 87 degrees. It's a hot day out here. But, you know, I parked my truck back here in the back. It all fits. But in order to get my RV back here where it goes, it's got to come through this gate. Okay? Now, that gate, while it appears to be pretty big, it is. It's 12 feet wide. The opening is 12 feet wide. And then you got the two doors, the two leaves that open out. I live on a corner. And to be perfectly honest with you, there's a pole in the way. There's a tree in the way. There's a couple things happening out there. And even though it's easier than most because we live on a corner, it's still, quite involved. So when I was getting the RV back here through this gate, when we arrived home at the end of camping season 3, I unfortunately rubbed the side of the camper on this bracket right here while the gate was open, on this bracket. And let me show you what I did. Now, being totally honest, could have been a lot worse. Check this out. There you have it, folks. Check out this. Let me get close here. It is about a 1/4 inch deep on some sides. Luckily, it is just the door. The door still opens and closes perfectly, okay, without a problem. I did damage this decal a little bit, scratched this up, but really that didn't do anything. You guys remember I did a project here with a rubber thing. All I gotta do is respray that. So I gotta change this decal if possible. This can get buffed out, but this door gotta come out. As is most things in life, I look at things like this. They're gonna happen. It was stupid. It was it was a mistake that I made. Could have been a lot worse. Luckily, it was just the door. I do have the door on order, but in the meantime, I don't want to leave this like this. So I'm gonna get some Eternabond tape, and I'm gonna cover that up just to make sure that I don't get any water seepage into the door itself. But listen, it is what it is. You're out on the road, you're out here camping, you're doing this kind of stuff. Things like this are going to happen. It's really not that big of a deal. I'm going to order the door, and when it comes in, I'll install it and I'll share it with you guys. But for now, I'm just going to show you real quick what I'm going to do to make sure that I don't get any more damage. All right, so like I mentioned, this project is going to take a little time because I have to order the door. When the door comes in, I'll replace it. I'm not quite sure just now if they send you the leaf or the whole door, the whole door. I'll find out that a little bit more. Again, in case you guys are wondering, I'm going through Affinity Group, great company out of Goshen, Indiana. I've done business with them in the past. I'm going to go again through them because I trust them, and they're a good company, good people to work with. But for now, I can't leave this like this, so I'm going to fix it using Eternabond tape. So I'm going to clean up the area a little bit, measure this out, install it, and I'll show you guys. I don't know, maybe a little silly. You may be into this kind of stuff, but I'm going to do it on time lapse real quick, and then I'll get back with you. All right. We're done for now. Yes, it looks a little ratchet, but at least this will stop any type of water or moisture to get in that one door, and I'll leave it just like that until the new door arrives. And when the new door arrives, we will reconvene for this repair. All right, so we are back at it. You know, as kids would say in today's society, it's been a minute. It's been a minute, but in reality, it's been a couple of weeks, as you guys very well know. I do most of my business. I do all of my business that has to do with the RV through Affinity Group out of Goshen, Indiana. Again, I can't emphasize this enough. They are a great organization to work with. Again, I'll also mention they're not sponsor of this channel at all. I just share when I find somebody that does good work, good product, good to work with. I like to share it with you guys. I'm doing my business again with Goshen, Indiana, and it took a couple of weeks. It took a couple of weeks to get the door in. At no fault of theirs, it was the factory, Keystone. You know, they're running behind like everybody else in the industry. They're running a few weeks behind, but nonetheless, I got the door. It did come with the frame, so it's an easy take off the screws. Well, we'll go through that in a minute and replace it. So the one thing that is on back order is, believe it or not, the graphics. So I got a plan for the graphics. We're going to go ahead and get started and maybe finish this project today. And let's go. I'm going to share it with you guys. All right, so a real quick recap on what we got going on. This is the door in question. If you guys remember, I covered it up with tape so that no moisture or rain would get inside the door itself. That's what we're going to work on today. And what I have planned, and I mentioned to you that the graphic is on back order. What I have planned for you guys, I'm not going to let this slow me down. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a template of it. I'm going to take a piece of paper and I'm going to trace it out because I don't know exactly how the graphic is coming. I don't know if it's a specific piece or maybe a square piece that needs to be cut to size. So since I don't know that, I am going to make a template of it and keep it, and when that arrives, I'll put it on. But I'm not going to bore you guys with that. I mean, it's a sticker, for crying out loud. What I am going to do is, and I am going to share with you guys, is the taking apart of this door, just so we see how it goes. So without further hesitation, let's get on it. And by the way, this is the first time I've ever done this. I don't know exactly. I did contact Lippert. They gave me a few pieces of advice, and they told me exactly how to do it. It seemed pretty easy from what they explained. So let's get at it. Oh, and by the way, in case you're wondering, I'm a little under the weather. I have a sore throat. Been fighting a little cold. Everybody in the house has, so bear with me. Let's get it. Let's go for it. All right, so first things first. I'm just going to trace this out. Should go fairly smooth. This is where you hope the tracing that we did as kids in school pays off. Oh yeah, I could see right through the all right, let me rearrange this. I can see right through the paper onto the graphic, so that should be fairly easy. Let me readjust this paper so it goes all the way down to the bottom. Even though when I go ahead and cut my graphic, whenever it gets here, I may cut it just a little longer. I may cut it just a little longer so that I can overlap in some areas and cut off as needed. All right. So here we go. That's it. Graphic is done. Just gonna tape the middle part here so there's no chance of screwing this up. This is obviously the keep side. Just to remind me, because I really don't know how long this is going to take to come in, but I'll be ready for it. So now I just carefully take the stencil off. And go put it in a nice safe place. All right, so the way it was explained to me on the phone, these things are put on with butyl tape on the inside of the door, and I'll show you guys that in a minute. Screws all the way around the inside, and then a bead of caulking to finish it up. So we're gonna do the reverse. It was explained to me to grab a utility knife and very carefully just cut into the bead of caulking, making sure not to scratch the finish on the RV. I'll do my best. Not much caulking there. I'll take this off since I'm going to replace that. All right. I think that's I think that's good enough. From the looks of it, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 8 screws. 8 screws. Let me take some of this stuff out of my way so that I can work, so that I have space to work. This is my This is my electrical compartment. This is where I keep all my dog bones, my surge protector, which is not in here right now because I'm connected to Shoreland or Shore Power. So let me get all this stuff out of the way and get busy. Extension cords. You never know when you're going to need those. That. These. Good Lord. All right, let's get to work. Drill, and I want to say it's a number 2. I want a number 2 square head. I don't even, there's probably like a real name for this. I don't know. All I know is that just about every screw on an RV takes one of these. So you should always have a few of these on hand because you never know when you're going to need them. I'm going to go ahead and start taking off the screws. I'm a little bit anal about stuff like that, so got my little cap. Put my stuff in so I don't lose it. Let's start off right here. All right, I sort of kind of failed to mention the struts, these little shocks need to be removed because the door obviously does not come with them. I have to take these out and pass them on to the next door. So let's take care of that first. I'm not sure if I want to do it right now. I don't know. I'm gonna take it off and see what happens. All right, so real quick, the entire frame is loose. I did mention to you guys about these struts. Whether you want to or not, you have to take the struts off. At least in mine, you have to take it off because there are 5 bolts or 5 screws down here at the bottom that that screw into the frame for the actual strut, or I keep calling it a strut. I think it's a strut or a little shock absorber or whatever. One of the screws is behind the actual bar right here, which you can't reach. So, gotta take off the strut. And if I'm not mistaken, it comes off by taking this little clip off. Make sure don't lose it, because you're gonna need it for the other door. So there's one. Now you're gonna have to be a magician, or you're gonna have to hold it with your head. There you go. Pull back on the clip, it comes straight out. You can now access the final screw. Listen, if you had somebody to help you, a whole head part would be extra. But I don't, because like I mentioned, Myrna's also inside the house a little under the weather. So there you go, there's the last screw. This is out. Now, theoretically, the door should come straight out. Theoretically. Remember, you're going to have to give it a little bit of a tug because there is butyl tape holding it on. Give it another check to make sure that there are no screws still in there. And I'm going to go ahead and close this door a little bit so that I can work on it. One more screw right here. Wouldn't you know it? Bam. Wouldn't you know it? One screw was playing games. I bet you if they did this at the factory, it would be done in 2 seconds. Because they do it every day. But we're not at the factory. There you go. There we go. Just like that. If I say easy peasy, I'd be lying. So, all right, it's out. Let's get to work on cleaning this up. All right, so the door is out, as you guys saw. Now comes the task of cleaning all this up and then reinstalling the door. I will tell you this, Lippert is the one that gave me the information on how to install this door. One of the things they talk about is butyl tape. I can tell you this, having taken off the old door and looked at it twice over, no butyl tape from factory. So keep that in mind, in case you guys are wondering about this type of what goes on behind these things. No butyl tape, just a bead of caulking is all they put. And for that matter, some of this area there is zero caulking right here, and there's plenty here. Zero here, zero here, there's none here. Now, think about it. This is the top part of the door. This is kind of important, but you know, it is what it is. Now comes the part, cleaning it. That's the toughest part. Let's see. I got a few little things I'm gonna try out and see how this works out. All right, so quick little update. In case you're wondering to tackle something like this, the big caulking, the big areas of caulking that were here, I used a plastic, I don't know, spatula, whatever you want to call it, And believe it or not, it was sharp enough to take off the big clumps of caulking. I'm still working on it little by little, but because it's plastic, did not scratch up any of the finish. By the way, you saw me tear this trimming off. I took it off on this side. It's off camera, you can't see it. And this one, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to do that kind of stuff. I mean, that goes right back on, gives you an opportunity to clean it, slide it on correctly, caulk it. Makes your job a lot easier when putting this stuff back together. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to do it. None of this stuff is that difficult. I did notice that when I pulled the trim off, I was able to lift up this piece of the graphic, which is kind of interesting because I had my doubts on how I was going to do the graphic, didn't know how that was going to play out. But now that piece lifted up, let me see if I can. I don't want to introduce any kind of chemicals, and I don't want to introduce heat because I don't know how that's going to work on the laminate. So let me see if I can just pull it out. All right, so graphics are off. I'm not going to say it was easy, but definitely going to need a blade, a flat blade. And I did realize that my best tool was my fingers. Just, scrape off the tip with your nail, and then little by little, tear it off. So what I'm going to use now is I'm going to use a little bit of alcohol, rubbing alcohol, and see if I can take off the rubber adhesive, the little pieces that are here. So when the new graphic goes on, it goes on nice and smooth. I also have I'm not sure if you guys have ever seen it. Well, let me show you what I got. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Let me go get it. All right, so I bought one of these a while back. I used it on my cousin's car to delete his, he had some pinstripings that were really, really old. And I used it on that. It worked pretty good. I mean, not great, but it worked good. I'm gonna try it now. I'm gonna try a little bit before I use the rubbing alcohol. I'm gonna use this on some of this area that's gonna go covered by the new decal or the new graphics. I'm gonna use it, see how it works. Let's see. Let's check it out. Like I said, everything is new because this is the first time I've ever done anything like this. So trial and error. Let's see how this goes. Let me get the camera close so you guys can see this. So this is what this area looks like. All that dark area you see is all glue. And watch. I'd say it's working pretty good, so I'm going to go ahead and continue this, clean it up as much as I can. Then I'm actually going to do the area around the door. It's working good. It's not scratching anything. It's working as designed, so why fight it? All right, so that worked out better than I thought, to be honest with you. I still have the few little scratches that obviously happened from the door that kind of came off over into the paint. But I got to be honest with you, if this is all I got to contend with when it's all said and done, I'm happy with it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm really happy with it. I'm gonna go ahead and continue. I'm gonna show you guys here how the graphic delete went, and I'm very, very happy with it. I'm happy with the delete wheel. I'm gonna continue using it around the rest of the door and see how that goes. But not bad at all. All right, not sure if you guys noticed because it was on time lapse, it's going quick. Not sure if you noticed how I abruptly stopped using the delete wheel. And the reason for that is, I'll show you here. Apparently, this area that you're looking at was part of the area that was repaired the last time we were at Affinity, because there was a crack. I shared it with you guys. If you haven't seen that, you need to go back to those videos. There was a crack underneath this slide here, and that was one of the areas that was repaired. Well, apparently the heat from the wheel kind of screwed me up a little bit and took off a little bit of the paint. It is what it is. When I get back to Affinity now in a few months, or actually in about a month and a half, I will see if they can fix that little piece when they do the front cap, which is what we're going to get worked on. I'm going to go ahead, and this is all clean. All the caulking is out. I went back to the traditional, using my nail, my finger, and just rubbing off the excess caulking. But I am ready. I am ready. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the hinges off of the old door, and I'm going to put them on the new door, and then I'm going to install it. I'm going to install the door. Actually, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Yeah, I'm going to do that because the door needs to stay open while I put this. Few more minutes of cleaning up around here, around the edge, and I am ready to go. Like I said, butyl tape first, then screw the door in, then the caulking last. So let's get at it. All right, so this is what I got going on. I took off both of the struts. What I'm going to do now to make sure that I put the struts back on the same spot on the new door, although these things are a little bit flexible. I mean, they're a little bit, they give a little bit. I want to be as precise as possible. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to my template again. I'm going to go back to my template, and I am going to attempt to put the holes right back where they belong. There's one hole, there's another hole, there's another one, and another one. Kind of seems a little awkward, but that's just me. And there's another one right there. So that's the top right. Let me get that done, and then I'll do the left. Or actually, let's do the left right now. Giving myself an idea. You know, like I said, these things give a little. These things give a little. I'm just giving myself an idea, the general vicinity of where the hinges go. So that one's that side, this one's this side. Let's go ahead and take this door, set it off to the side. Bring it in the new one. All right. So here's a new one. Then do one last check. Pretty much. I guess once you have one or two screws in, the other ones kind of fall into place, right? I hope. Just checking. I mean, the doors are identical, but just want to make sure that this year's model door wasn't a 1/4 of an inch thinner, or an 8 or 3/16 of an inch thinner, and then I pay the price for it. But so far so good. Struts are installed on the new door. Let's get the butyl tape and let's get ready to pop this bad boy on. All right, so the struts have been installed on the new door. This is where another pair of hands would really come in handy, but I don't have them, so I'm gonna do what I can. Here's my butyl tape that I'm going to be installing in a second. But before I do that, and this is just me, if you guys notice, I'm sure you're wondering what these little pieces of blue tape are. Those blue tapes are where the previous holes were made to install this frame. Or were the holes where the old frame came out of? Okay. Now I got a lot of. This is all aluminum all the way around. I have plenty of area to work with. There is no specific area where the screws need to go. But what I don't want to happen is I don't want to inadvertently screw into the old holes, because I want it to be secure. So once you screw into the old hole, it's not really gonna catch very well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to repeat the process. Actually, I'm going to put the door here. Okay, I'm just going to present the door. All right, and then I'm going to use the actual tape. I'm going to actually use the tapes that are on there right now, and I'm going to move them. To new areas so that I can pre-drill. I'll tell you in a second what I'm going to do. So I'll take this. Well, me start up here so you can see it. So I'll take this tape, for instance, that's right here, and I'm going to move it an inch this side, okay? But now, instead of putting it back on the RV, I'm putting it on the door. So I'm going to move this one a little bit this way. It's going on the door. I'm going to move this one just a little bit this way. Whoops. And then I'm going to move this one that's way over here, and I'm going to move it right here. Then this one that's way down here, hope you guys can see, I'm going to move it up here. And this one that's here, I'm going to move it a little bit here. Now there are 2 holes down here at the bottom. Can't mess with, because that's where the hinges are going. So worst case scenario, if those holes kind of just like go around in circles and they don't work, I'll just go to a bigger size screw, and that way it's not a problem. But it takes 2 screws down here. I'm going to take this one, move it here to a new area, and then the screw that goes here, I'm going to move it here to a new area. So now, everywhere that I had a hole on the RV, those areas are now transposed over onto my door, where I can go ahead and, what I said I was going to do, go ahead and pre-drill using a drill bit. I'm going to pre-drill the holes on this, but the ones in the aluminum frame, I'm going to let the self-tapping screws do the job there. So I'm going to pre-drill these now, and then I'm going to go to doing those. Here we go. So, holes are pre-drilled. Let's put on the butyl tape and get to install it. All right, so butyl tape is on. This is where another set of hands would come in handy. I don't have them, so I am going to do the best I can. Basically, they recommend put the tops on first, or I should say, they recommend you alternate. Put one on the top, one on the bottom, another one, start at the top, one. That's how they recommend doing it. The problem that I'm going to run into here is I'm going to have the lid flapping down on my head. So, don't know how it's going to work out. We're going to give it a shot. All right, the door is in. All the screws around the edge have been installed. The only thing I'm missing is the base clamps for the struts. But in order to get an idea how far up and down, I'm going to open this hatch, and that'll show me more or less, give me an idea of where it goes. Because this is the full extension. This is the full extension right here. So if I click the base on like that, flip it around, it'll give me a rough idea of where the screws go. I'm gonna have to take it off anyway, because one of the screws goes right behind the strut, but at least I can install the majority of them. Let me get the distance again. And that's about right. That's about right. Let me do one on this side. I mean, don't get me wrong, there may be several ways of doing this. This is the one that I found easiest. So get one done. It's about the perfect height that I wanted at. There you go. Now, perfect. I don't want to press on it too much. There's only two screws in it, but you get the idea. So all right. Not sure if you guys noticed, every time I tried to close, this strut would come off. Basically what it is this clip needs to go up. I need to force it up into its into the correct position so that it clamps around this ball. And how do we do that? We basically push it up just like that. Once it falls into place, you could put it here and snap it in. This one's on. I don't know. Let's see how this works. Like a charm. Works like a charm. That's it. Brand new. Brand new. Gonna have to get this little piece up here fixed. Graphic goes on the door, and it'll be finished. I will tell you this, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the easiest, 10 being the hardest, on a scale, honestly speaking, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd be lying to you if I said it was very difficult. It was a 5, maybe. The toughest part was taking off the graphic and cleaning up the area. Other than that, works exactly the way it is designed. Everything went on the way it was supposed to. The only thing missing is I got to put these strips on back on, and I got to recock the area. I don't have the caulking with me right now. It's not like it's gonna rain in the next few days here. At least that's not what the forecast says. But that's it. Project a 5. You could do it if you're a little mechanically inclined. It could be done with no problem whatsoever. That's it. That's all I got. Hope you guys enjoyed. This video. Just another project while home. This one had been hounding me for a while. Just watching that Turnabond tape on there covering that hole in the door just reminded me of a big mistake. Whoa, stop, halt, stop everything, cut. All right, as you guys can tell, it is another day. It is actually the next day. Yesterday, I finished this project. Well, I sort of kind of finished this product, or this project. As you can tell, the decal was left. I was going to end the video because I didn't know how long the decal was going to take, but as soon as I was done last night, or packed everything up and put everything away, I went outside, and lo and behold, right outside my door, Federal Express delivered my graphics. So I thought about it for a second, and I said, you know, I cannot in good conscience close out this video without at least giving you guys a a quick, you know, a quick cut on how this decal installation is going to take place. I got to be honest with you. I don't know what I'm, I've never really done this. It is you can tell right here, it is a 3M product. So I'm assuming it's peel and stick. But I will tell you this. You guys remember I did my my stencil. I did my stencil. It's a good thing that I did do my stencil, because this piece, when I put it up against the RV, is a little bit longer. If you could tell down here, it's a little bit longer, so it obviously needs to be trimmed. And I'm actually glad I did my stencil. I'm going to now lay my stencil on top of my graphics, make a few marks, and then I'm going to cut it to size. Now, they send you one piece, and it goes from the coach, and then it goes off into the door. So I am going to cut one piece, work on it, then do the door piece, work on it. But let's see. I'm going to share it with you guys. I'm going to time lapse it because I don't know how long it's going to take. Obviously, I'm going to start off first by cleaning up the area real well, and we'll go from there. But, I'm sorry for the interruption, but I figured if I got it and I hadn't posted this video yet, why not cut into it and share it with you guys? So let's go. Without wasting any more time, let's jump into it. All right, so if you guys remember correctly, I did a stencil that basically goes right here. Okay, I did the stencil because I had no idea how Keystone provided the actual decals or the graphics. And in a way, I'm actually glad I did the stencil. The graphic basically comes like that, but it's a little larger on the bottom, okay? So basically the stencil goes like this and goes into the door. It goes into the door just like that, okay? But the bottom, I'm going to have to cut out a little bit of the bottom because it does not match. So I'm actually very, very glad that I did my stencil so that I can follow my stencil. Basically make it look just like the other side. Although I will tell you this, the good thing about, if there's a positive side to doing these things, you can't really see both sides of the coach at the same time. So I'm going to tape this off so that I can go piece by piece, and I'm going to time lapse it so you guys can see how it goes. Let's do it. All right, so as you could tell, it went on pretty smooth. I mean, it's a very thick graphic, very thick sticker. So didn't allow too much room for kinking or anything like that. I am assuming that now you carefully peel off the top, revealing the finished product. But there it is. There's the finished product. I mean, obviously there's still a little piece of paper. I'm assuming you peel this part off. Let's go. Let's give it a shot. Well, there you have it, folks. I'm gonna use the word easy peasy. Now, mind you, remember I took out all the caulking that goes there, so that very, very little thin line that you see creeping through, that'll be gone. The trim is missing here with caulking, and all this needs to be caulked all the way around. And now I'm going to do the door piece, but painless, quick, smooth. Let's go to the next part and finish this off. guys have it. Decals are all back. Let me tell you, at the beginning, you know, when you start thinking about what happened, the project itself may seem overwhelming at first. I got to admit, I'm really happy the way this turned out. Came out pretty good. The only thing missing is the two moldings that go here. I'm not going to bore you guys with that. You guys know very well. They just, if you know anything about RVs, they just slide in, you cock them, and you're done. But that's it. I didn't want to close out this video, like I mentioned, in good conscience, knowing that I had the stickers with me. They arrived, and I didn't do it. So I took a minute to run out here, and that's it. I'm done. Caulking, stripping, or caulking the goodness gracious, the trim, and that's it. So I'm glad I was able to share that with you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Now, let's go back to the original programming. It's done, it's fixed. Time to move on. Time to move on to the next part.